Yes, well, good evening. The Who's today were on at Rosehill. It was a dead track, and the rail was 6 metres out, and there was a good solid southwesterly breeze all day. When they were running down the back, coming down the side, I suppose they were running into it, but it didn't seem to have any effect on any of the results. So I'm forgetting about the win today, and the track played very fair, I thought. You could lead, save ground on the fence, get middle splits. It wasn't most certainly a swoopers track, so the track played fair. The first race, they said there was 102.4 on the screen. Well, I can see where there's 4 less straight away to put it under the 100, and that's with number 2 Riker. Well, they said the best luck was $5. Well, there was $6 given on the fence and plenty of 5.50. So there's 4% straight away, as I say, to take it under the 100. And this race was won by Corabetti, number 3, who put in a very good performance at his first start at Randwick, when it made up plenty of ground from well back in the field and in the worst section of the track. Apparently it's a big gangly thing, and I looked at watching the race on the closed circuit. It settled down in 3rd, 4th last position on the fence, went for a split in between, after missing the kick slightly, in between runners after turning for home, got slightly hit over the old, I suppose, with the snozzle with the whip from Riker, from Father Schofield, but that didn't stop it. It went through, charged through, and won by the half a length from the top weight, Amavato, who had every possible chance. It sat in the 1-1 position. Margins would point a half a length by 3/4 of a length. Running third, also having every possible chance, was Pit Boss. It got trapped wide in the run. Vivid dropped out and ran last, 7.2 lengths away. Wouldn't have won even if it wasn't trapped wide. Race 2, well, this was won by, well, first of all, the screen, 104.8 on the screen, and about 3% less in the marketplace, about the 101 mark. And Relaxed and Happy, well, they said they were going to ride it with cover today, as we all know. Nippy Nash explained to the Stipes that when the gate sprung back, all of a sudden Relaxed and Happy was a length and a half in front. And of course, what you do when that happens, you just go forward. And he did exactly the right thing. He didn't. It would have been absolutely stupid of him to restrain the horse at that time. So he let it stride, and it found that the lead on the fence on its outside was Centre Pet, and when Nash was able to give, he ran along. When he was able to give this leader, Relaxed and Happy, a bit of rein, it got well clear turning for home, and coming off its back along the fence was Oompa Loompa. Only got beat, only failed by half a length, and coming from last on the fence was Neudart in between runners, and it was only 1 length away. The winner, it went up $4, got out to 5, and was absolutely poleaxed at one stage of betting. It was $4.40 hard to get, but it got back out to start $5, starting equal. Well, it didn't start favourite. The stablemate of Neudart, Emblems, it started favourite at around about the $4.80 mark, after $5.50 was bet about it. There were a few runners liable in the race, but as I say, early in the piece, the winner was by far the best back runner. Race 3, they said there was a fat 111.4 on the screen. There was about 4 less in the marketplace, about 107. And this race was won by Mashashinko, trained by Gay, ridden by Tim Clark. it sat outside the favourite here, Darcy Wood. Well, when you saw Emblems, well, I suppose Neudart went all right, didn't it, in race 2, but Emblems, who sat in 5th position, seemed to go fairly ordinary, and that and Neudart got beat because it wasn't a real good line for the favourite in this race, Darcy Wood, and it went fairly ordinary. It went up a $2.50 chance, or $2.40 even. Bookies reached for it very quickly, out to plenty of $3.20, if not longer, $3.30, about the same thing. I was still I was $2.80 laying it at the finish of betting, and as I said, it went straight to the lead, ridden by Sean Geimer, and they didn't go that hard, even though the field was fairly spread out. It didn't seem to be running along that hard, with the winner, Mashishinko, sitting on its outside. And when they turned for home, this favourite, it had no petrol left at all. It dropped out and got beat 5 odd lengths. It was a very poor effort, and the Mashinko, who sat outside the lead, it was able to get clear and hold off Hunter Jack, who was extremely well back by 0.2 of a length. Hunter Jack got a cosy run in 6th position with Nippy Nash aboard, pulled out at the top of the straight, but Mashinko held, for a couple of strides it looked like the second horse was going to win, but couldn't catch Mashinko, and as I say, failed by 0.2 of a length. And Hunter Jack, as much as $9 was given about Hunter Jack. I did start $6.50 on my board. I was laying it when they jumped, and it would have been a bad result for the captains. Whereas the winner, $13, I think I gave, $12. Plenty of it. I saw there was plenty of a few boards 13, and it was just a little bit too strong, and making up plenty of ground from about 4th last position. They said they were going to ride it back today, and they did, and that was Gullible, and it made up a lot of ground to finish in 3rd hole, beaten 1.7 lengths. Found the line well. It went as much as $12 was given about Gullible, and it had only started about, at one stage they took the 10, but it started $11. Who else was backed in this race? Nothing really. Besides the Hunter Jack and the favourite were by far the best backed. And if you gave $13 the winner, you could easily lay it. Race 4, they said there was 106.1 on the screen, only a couple less in the marketplace, about 104. And this was won by Titbit, the Waller Horseman Huey Bowman combination, and it settled back in 3rd last, 4th last position, one off the fence, outside the second horse, Gliding, who would have been a fantastic result for the bookies. In this race, we gave, well, it started what we gave on the field, 13-2 the field, $7.50 the field it was in this race. We put it up favourite, Cradle Me, at around about the 9-2 mark, in front of Barramilla around about the $6.50 mark. So it was 9-2, 11-2 bar it, and we both of them started $6 or $7.50, 13-2, and Titbit, as I say, settled outside the second horse. When they turned for home, the second horse was able to get a fairly good run. Horseman Huey Bowman on the winner eased off heels, got a bit of a middle split, and then shouldered his way clear, and he proved a little bit too strong in the last bit to beat Gliding, who would have been a huge result for the captains, from $17 out to 31, and running third was the easing favourite, Cradle Me, only beaten 0.4 of a length after having every possible chance, sitting a bit closer today than general in 4th position. But as I say, having every possible chance. There was one runner that got trapped wide in the run, and that was Berra Miller. Well, I was $8 when they jumped, and as I say, got trapped wide. And one of the best backed runners all day was in this race, starting equal favourite at $7.50, and that was Houston Benefactor from $21, and they took your $8 towards the end of betting, only starting $7.50. So they started $7.50 each of three. Cradle Me, Berra Miller, although I was $8 it, so it was 7-1, and they started 13-2 each of two favourites, Cradle Me and Houston Benefactor. As I say, one of the best back runners. They took the 20, they took the 17, the 18, they took the 17, the 16, the 15, they took the 14, took the 13, took the 12, 11, 10. It's all over. No, we'll take your 9. And then they had the audacity to take your 8. It sat well back in the field, Houston Benefactor, from a fairly wide alley, and unfortunately got trapped 3 wide, so that didn't help its chances. Miss Reddy, who was extremely well back last start at big odds, she was well in the market today. $9 given, started $8.50, a 15-2 chance, missed the kick. Not badly, was sort of half eased out of the barrier, but then when Killer Kath O'Hara went for a run after straightening in the straight, she got stopped in the tracks, and then again towards the end of the race again ran out of room. It would have finished if it jumped, well, as cleanly as last start. You don't know what would have happened, but even if it did get a clearer run today, it would have finished closer in this race. Race 5, they said there was 104.8 on the screen. There was about the neat 100 in the marketplace. And this race was won by Sedcom. It started only $3.60 Sedcom, and it was $3.20 favourite Nocturnal. Right in the last 2-3 minutes of betting, which is a long time on the race course, and especially the last minute of betting, after $4.20, I think the best luck was only $4, but it was easy to get $4.20. After the $4.20 was taken, as I say, right in the last couple of minutes, all the $4, $3.90, $3.80 and $3.70 was snapped up about this runner, and they said they were going to ride this closer, said Com, and when it got out of the barriers, it settled down in third last position on the fence. The obvious and natural leader in this race was Zaratone, who finished up running third. So that doesn't say much for this race because although it didn't do it hard up in front, it sat on its outside New Day Rising, who pulled up with speedy cuts and went fairly ordinary. It got beat 17.5 lengths. It ran a distant last, New Day Rising, obviously nowhere as good as it used to be. After they just ran along at a good solid pace, when they turned for home, Horseman Huey Bowman on the winner hadn't spent a penny, eased off the fence, got a middle split, angled through the middle of them, and you can see him coming fairly quickly at the 200-metre mark, and he won by a half a length. The horse that was in front of him on the fence finished up running second, and that was Mr. Armstrong, who would have been a great result from the captains. It went from 26 out to 31, and it would have been, as I say, a skinner for most bookies. Contiki Park, number 1, didn't have a price. It went from $5, excuse me, out to $9. Bowl Glance, well, it was layable at $13 and $14. And the favourite, Nocturnal, excuse me, who went up 5-2, we put it up the 5-2 mark, was 3.70 was given, 11-4, and at one stage it got back into $3.10. It was $3.20 again when they jumped, and unfortunately for Father Schofield, he sat back in third or fourth last position, and from his alley barrier 9 in a field of 11, he never got closer than 3 wide, and that was the end of Nocturnal. Race 6, they said there was 106 on the screen, but the best luck in the marketplace there was about 8% less. We bet around about 98 here, and I can see straight away. Well, this favourite Sessions, who I had a very bad result on this race. As much as $3 was given about Sessions on the rails. The best luck is $2.80, and the SP is $2.30, but it was $2.50 when they jumped on the rails, and as I say, on the fence they gave as much as $3. So it's just such an advantage if you're punting to be at the races. You just get handled all the time with the fluck and even the SPs. What happened here? Sessions, the favourite, started $2.50, as I say. We put it up a 5-4 chance only on, or even a 5-4 chance. And as I say, bookies reach for it, but the punters they bet to a man here, and clever Karen McAvoy, he settled back. He wasn't deterred. He just settled back in the field, in between runners, in about 5th last position, and he knew what was underneath him, obviously, because when they turned for home, this horse has got a wonderful turn of foot, and he waited until they sort of flattened out. When the splits came, the horse just went straight through the comic cuts, and it went away and won by 1.8 lengths. It ran second in the race. Agent, who got a good run along the fence and came around runners, never got interfered with, and holding on for third after sitting in 4th position was Golden Sunshine after having a good run. Herrera got trapped 3 wide in the run. It led on the fence. Anave never went really hard. Gasquet, it sat on its outside. It bled for the second time, Gasquet, so that's the last time we'll see Gasquet in Australia. And Herrera 3 wide outside those. As I say, the favourite, it had, as it turned out, plenty on these runners, and the 6-4 was good odds, which price it started. Race 7, 108.7 on the screen, they said, only 102.5 in the marketplace, and this winner, nothing like Luca. John O'Shea's had it now for 3 runs, and he's won the 3 starts for him. It got a cosy run. It was extremely well rated by Nippy Nash, nothing like Luca. The designated leader, McClintock, it went out and led, and Nash just let it do its own thing, and he did his own thing on the winner, just letting it roll along, counting in his head. And Fireball, number 4, it was running third, looking at the winner. It finished up running third, Fireball, and the top weight Disciple, who was trying to make it 3 on end, it sat midfield on the back of the Great Snowman, and it went up a $4.40 chance, Disciple, but it was quickly reached for by the captains, out to a good bit of $6, plenty of $5.50. Excuse me, but it only started $4 and only failed by the 0.1 of a length. It was ridden by Ishikawa. He's a very capable rider who does a lot of riding for Tim Martin. He eased off heels turning for home, and it put in the powerful run like it did its last two starts. But today, with a bit of extra weight, the 60 kilos or 57 less, but still up in the weights from what it had been carrying, it just wasn't able to catch nothing like Luca, who got the perfect run and was perfectly ridden by Nippy Nash. As I say, 0.1 of a length, 1.6 back to the third horse, Fireball. The others seemed to, well, there was one runner in this race you have to forget all about. And when this incident happened, of course, it made this field spread out a bit further. I'm talking about Sastruga. He nearly went through the running rail, clever Kieran McAvoy. He was on the inside when they were hitting the first sort of bend, and he got put into the rail by, I think it could have been, look, I just forget who it was, but it might have been Father Schofield on the Great Snowman, I think it was, and it lost about, well, 3 lengths, Sastruga, and when it went back, the half a dozen or so horses that were behind it at the time all eased, and the field spread out, and I suppose the winner didn't lose any ground at all, but as I say, the field spread out a bit further than it would have if this incident didn't happen, and the winner got the Charmer. The second horse is Very Honest. The last race came along, the Git Square Stakes, and the punters, they got the favourite home here, Destiny's Kiss, who had been, well, as the saying goes, knocking on the door. We've seen in his last 2 or 3 runs, making up a mile of ground. As it turned out here today, it had plenty on this field. It went straight to the lead Cantonese. It's got to go back and trial. It went disgraceful. It got beat 14.5 lengths. It never ran along fast, just at a nice steady pace. Looking at it was Merlin Mustang, and it went, well, it finished up running 4 feet and 4.5 lengths. Tucked away back on the fence was McNuckle with on its outside rule book, and then Illo was on the fence behind those, getting a good suck up with Don Carlo on its outside. The winner, it was back in about 4th or 5th last position on the fence, Destiny's Kiss, and when they turned for home, well, it was gone, the leader Cantonese, and Elo had got inside McNuckle and inside the winner, and it looked like the run that it had, and going through, it looked like it would. It was well, at the time it was favourite to win the race, but no sooner it got its head in front, there was nothing left, and then you could see easing off their heels the winner, and the second horse tailed it. It was behind it, Ghost Protocol. It would have been a huge result for the captains. It went from Ghost Protocol went from $26 out to $51, and when they turned for home, the winner, ridden by Christian Reith, he eased off heels. Well, he didn't ease off heels. He was easing to the middle of the track, sort of thing. He was easing off heels, whereas the second horse, he got a charm run right along the fence, and the margin was only 1 length, but the winner was far too strong, and they got away from the others, making up ground from, well, it was out on its outside at one stage of the race, Capers, outside the favourite. It was 3 lengths away in third position. All of the others seemed to have their chance. The winner was by far the best run in the race. Second horse, I suppose now, that was a second run from a spell. It will be improved. That was about the meeting. Early on in the day, without complaining or whatever, everyone was saying that no one had turned up. It was just the usual suspects who were in the betting ring, and it was a fairly big meeting today up in Queensland, and early in the day there was hardly anybody there, and I had a few people comment to me that even in the grandstands well, you had the pen and inkers, of course. Not a lot of young pen and inkers who are learning how to drink, but uh, you had in the members and whatever. Apparently, there weren't a lot of people, although when we were walking out, there were still droves of people um, going out. It amazes me at Rosehill, the betting ring. I wish they'd block the betting ring off because it's a bit of a thoroughfare. It gives you a bit of an illusion there are people in the betting ring. There's only people from going one in, from walking through into the public grandstand where you can get alcohol, and others coming back around and going into the members. And it gives you an optical illusion sometimes there are people in the ring. When you have a real close look, there are just the dozen or so regular players there, plus of course the pros. The pros, and I'd say the pros, they would have finished in front today, especially the last, right towards the finish. One of the pros backed the winner of the last. It took 320 off me to win 5,000, and I think they backed it. They backed it everywhere they could get on. That was about the meeting. I hope whatever you are doing with your whatever sort of wire netting you are doing, I hope you won. Good evening.